Hi folks, and welcome back to the channel. It's your MC here again, looking like a retired sportsman come commentator with mic in hand. So today I'm going to delve into the realms of retro games. They're not going to be electronic games per se. We are going to have some board games amongst these, but my first pick is going to be an electronic game, and it's one that I've got very fond memories of. Do you remember the Vectrex? Now, the Vectrex was completely different from any video game system that was aimed at the home market, and that you didn't plug it into your TV at home. Rather, you got this box that was fairly heavy, and inside was basically a monochrome monitor. It looked a bit like a mini arcade machine, which made it even cooler. Now, despite it being a bit of a failure, sadly, I remember the Vectrex fondly, and because it used vector scanning, the actual graphics were pretty seamless. Now, I recall they had an Asteroids style game included in the Vectrex. It was already pre-programmed in, and it was absolutely amazing. In fact, I don't think I'd seen anything as close to an arcade version of Asteroids as I had when I got the Vectrex. I gotta be honest, I went a bit over the top with the Vectrex and I hunted down the games. And each one came with a coloured overlay. So you slotted this into the front of the screen, depending on the game you were playing. And to be honest, the video game library was pretty good. Now, I remember having a racing game, Pole Position, which I think, again, that was another arcade favourite. I had Scramble, which was absolutely fantastic. And as I say, these games were blimmin' seamless. They were amazing. There was no lag on them or anything. So, yeah, for me, the Vectrex was one of my all-time favourite retro toys as an electronic game. Yeah, I got different games consoles as time went on, but the Vectrex will always have fond memories. And I got to be honest, in my heart, there's that bit of me that still misses the Vectrex, and I wish I had one today. What a fantastic game. Distributed by Milton Bradley here in the UK. Yeah, the Vectrex. Sorely and sadly missed by me, and I'm sure many of you out there as well. Okay, so next on my list is a game called Mastermind. Now, this game was released by Invicta Games in either 72 or 73, and the cover itself was intriguing. It featured a rather well-dressed, dapper-looking gentleman sat in a chair, and beside him was a rather exotic-looking Asian lady. For all intents and purposes, they could have been characters out of a James Bond film. Now, I'm not going to go into depth in the rules of Mastermind, but effectively the game was one person would be a code maker and the other person would be a code breaker. So the code maker would get his coloured pieces. He would create a permutation of colours behind a screen, and the idea was that the opponent would try and find those permutation of colours through each subsequent turn to try and break the code. So yeah, Mastermind. They did bring out, I do recall, a pocket electronic version of this at one point, but I do remember having a box of Mastermind. I did enjoy it for quite a while, actually. The box actually put me off originally because I thought it was going to be mega complicated, but it wasn't. And I soon, if I'm honest, lost interest. But nonetheless, a good game, whiled away a couple of hours with the family. Yeah, Mastermind. So third on my list is a football game. It's still being made, although not in the quantities it probably was when I was younger. And that football game is Subbuteo, a tabletop football game. Now, it's got an amazing following still. I recall having a Subbuteo set in around 1982, that was bought for me by my parents, and it was the 1982 World Cup edition, I believe, featuring Brazil and England. Now, I loved it. I loved having a Subbuteo. It was brilliant. You know, my friend was absolutely obsessed with Subbuteo. He, put the baize cloth on a hardboard, you know, base. He had the stadium with all the, supporters in it, the floodlights, everything. You know, he was a major fan. I wasn't, I'm afraid. I was just happy to put that baize cloth on my bedroom floor, put the players there, and just have just a standard game of football. I probably had the electronic scoreboard, which wasn't really electronic. And I think I invested probably in a couple of corner kickers and linesmen, but that was as far as I got. But it shows you how times have changed. At one point in my collection, I had the West German team. So we're talking a while back. But yeah, Subbuteo, still popular, amongst a lot of people. Um, Different teams being traded for loads of money, really, these days from the past. But yeah, it was wildly popular when I was a child in the 80s. Subbuteo, one of those legendary games that is never quite forgotten. Great. Okay, so how many of you out there remember Simon? Now, Simon, in a nutshell, was basically an electronic version of Simon Says or Chinese Whispers. Call it what you will. Basically, it was an electronic version of the computer generates a sequence of colors and sounds, and you have to get that order of colors and sounds correct. That's basically it. The more successful you were, the faster Simon would get with its generated sequences. Simple enough, but when you package that idea, that concept, into a circular UFO looking type device with bright red, blue, yellow, and green touchpads, you're on to a winner. And Simon was a winner. Great game. Over the years, it's been replicated in, various different ways, such as the can't even remember the name, but where you have to remember to twist a handle, you know, spin a wheel, pull this, pull that, whatever. So yeah, the idea's gone on really to develop into different things. But Simon, yeah, great game, a pioneer really. Yeah, fond memories of that, and it looks super cool. I wanted a Simon. I knew people who had one, and it looked great. But yeah, didn't get one, but good memories of it. Fantastic idea. Right, and finally, and very briefly, the Sega Megadrive. Ah, absolutely played it to death. Never finished Sonic the Hedgehog. I tried, didn't do it. But anyway, my love for the Sega Megadrive was all really due in part to an accident. As in, I went to a high street store called Dixon's that used to be here in the UK. I originally purchased a Nintendo NES. I wasn't really paying attention to what I was getting, to be fair, and I don't think the salesman was, well, that great. I think he just wanted a sale. But anywho, I remember getting it home. I was looking forward to getting the joysticks ready and play some amazing game. But I got some sort of bazooka type thing, so I don't know what edition I picked up. But anyway, I wasn't happy, so I thought, right, stuff this. I'm taking it back to the shop, which I did. I exchanged it for a Mega Drive with Sonic, and that was it. The Mega Drive was played for hours upon hours upon hours. I remember me and my brother back in the day. Oh man, we were playing a game called The Revenge of Shinobi, and we were there in my bedroom when I was still living at home with my parents. we were both cigarette smokers, and flipping heck, honestly, it was like a blimmin', I don't know, it was just a haze of smoke when my mum opened the door and said, flipping heck, it's 1 o'clock in the morning. And we were still playing Revenge of Shinobi. And yeah, I mean, it's just got such great memories for me, the Mega Drive. Absolutely fantastic games console, wonderful games. Yeah, I must admit, I did buy a heck of a lot of games for that. But you know what? The Mega Drive, what a console. So, anyway, thank you for listening to my indulgences into those games, board, electronic, or otherwise. If you enjoyed it, consider subscribing and liking. And I will see you on the next one. Take care, folks. Bless you all and have a good one.